Today it's another tutorial, and today we're making traditional Nigerian traditional wedding cake. Okay, so the video on how this was made is already available on the channel, though it's just visuals, but you will understand the processes. The audio of the live streaming had an issue, so you will just see the visuals. I'll upload the main videos soon. I'm going to add some voiceovers, but then you can still go through the video and you will understand the whole process. Okay, so the first stage is to have trim the top of each of the layers. So I'm going to add some buttercream, and to my buttercream I added some crumbs. Okay, so it's not just plain buttercream. You can see I've added some crumbs to this. Okay, so to each of the layers I'm going to be adding buttercream just a little, and then I'll also crumb coat, and then I'll trim the sides. Oh, that's my flour falling off. Okay, so just a thin layer. Anyway, that depends on you though. I prefer to use a thin layer. Go with the second tier. It's important to work on the foundation of a cake. It helps you to have a good cake at the end of the whole process. So I go with the last layer, and then I try to do a finishing touch to the trimming of the top part. You can also use a cake leveler to ensure that it's well um, balanced and leveled. You don't want a cake that is tilting to a particular side. So let's see how we work on this. So the layer is almost perfect. I just add some little, and every little crumbs I take from this, I'm going to add it to my buttercream. So let me know where you're watching from, and let me know which other tutorial you want me to stream live next. If you're yet to subscribe, I'm sure you're going to do that right now. So just going patiently level the top. If you're new to baking, then I bet you this is a channel you always want to learn from. And if you want my professional courses, click on the link in the description on my channel and get enrolled. Yeah, I get to mentor you and you can ask any questions that you have. Okay, I want to lift up this side a little because I don't want to have to trim. So I noticed there's a little depression here. So I've just tucked it in with a little, some of the cut out part of the cake that I trimmed out. And that's level. So you can take a distance away from your cake and view it from a distance to see how leveled it is. So you can make any other adjustments that you want. Okay, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're new into baking. And if you're yet to subscribe, I'm sure you want to do that right away. Okay. So like I said earlier, the video for the process of making the cake is already on the channel, so you can check it out. Though it had no audio because it had some issues. But then if you go through carefully, you would understand every single thing that was done there. So I'm trimming the sides. You don't deep push the serrated knife deep into your cake, okay? Just at a small angle, and you carefully trim the sides. And that's because we're not using chocolate ganache, okay? If you're using chocolate ganache, you may not have to trim the sides of a cake. But we're not using that, so you gotta trim this. This is very important, okay? Don't skip this step if you're not using ganache. Don't assume that your cake will come as good or you're going to just use a lot of um, fondant to fill up the contour. It won't work. So it's important that you trim your cake well or you use chocolate ganache very well. So whichever one you choose, make sure that your cake is well trimmed or covered with ganache. It serves as a good foundation for the covering of your cake. You see, I'm not dipping it in, just at an angle. And then I'm going to finish up using a grater. Yeah, it works very well for me. I'm going to finish up with a grater. So, taking off these crumbs. Of course, as a baker, one thing you always have is lots of crumbs. Yeah, that's if you're trimming. Okay, so a grater. Yeah, just go around it. It gives your cake a final smooth finishing. So just go around it gently. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know in the comment section. Video on how to make all weather fondant is also on the channel. So if you've ever struggled with making fondant or you have issues with sweaty fondants, then you would want to check out that video because after that tutorial you won't have such issues again. Okay, you confidently make fondants for any kind of cakes that you want to make. You have to take your time on the trimming, because once that is done, you'll be happy with your work. And also check if your cake is tilted. I think it's a little bit tilted by the side. I'm just going to tuck it in with some crumbs. So do some finishing with this. See, the foundation of anything is very important, so that's why we're taking our time on this, so we can have a good finishing. So now you know that your grater has a lot of uses, right? Not just for grating nutmeg and all of that. Okay. Sorry about that. So take these crumbs off, and we'll try to clear our table to complete the work. So if you're new into baking, I have an advice for you. Don't stop learning, okay? Knowledge is key. You know what happens? The more you learn, the easier the work becomes for you. You can sleep over an order, okay, because you have a level of knowledge that gives you that confidence, not just in yourself. Like, of course, you're dependent on God, but your skills gives you sort of confidence. You can have a wedding cake order and sleep over it because you have a level of certainty of the outcome, because you have learned and you're learning, okay? So don't stop learning and don't be satisfied with what you know, okay? Just keep improving on yourself. I'm not stop learning. I keep learning. Whenever I go for an event and an opportunity to um, have a taste of a cake made by another baker and it tastes different or better than mine, of course, I'm not insecure about that. What I usually do was to make my findings. Okay, how did this person achieve this? How was this achieved? How was that achieved? And then I go for knowledge. That's how I kept improving, and I'm still improving. You know, learning never ends. So don't get to the point where you feel like you don't need to learn anymore. Okay? That's what distinguishes great people from others. They keep learning, they keep improving on themselves. Alright, so we're clearing off our table for the rest of the work. And if you're one who has been thinking that baking is difficult, no, it's not. I'm sure you can see what we're doing. And it's what anybody can do. I tell my students that anybody can bake, especially the summer kids that I host every year during the summer holidays. I tell them that anybody can bake, so it's not difficult. Okay, all you need to do is to learn, know the techniques, and practice. If you don't practice, you won't know how good you are, or you won't know your faults. Okay. So I'm going to be adding buttercream, and then the crumb coating is called crumb coating. Okay, you're going to be locking the crumbs in. In this buttercream, I added some crumbs of this. Okay, some of the crumbs I was trimmed out, so it doesn't just taste like ordinary buttercream. I don't know if you've seen some cakes that way, and you're wondering what was added. It's the crumbs. Okay, you can see how it's looking. It's not looking just like buttercream. So just apply a layer of it around your cake. Before we go on, I'd love to transfer to the main board. And of course, on this board, I'm going to add some buttercream here to help to stick the cake to the board. You can also use glucose for this. I have to shift it to the side because I'm going to be adding some elements here of design. So the cake is not going to be centralized. If you're just joining, we're making traditional wedding cake. Though this live video may not cover everything to the end, I may just stop at a point, but of course you will also always find the rest of it on the channel. Okay, so I'm just putting on this side because I'm going to be adding some other things here. Yeah. You can see it's not centralized because the cake is going to be having some other design that will be attached on this table. Okay, so let's go on with our crumb coating. So one thing I always tell my students is work with confidence, okay? It's a non-living thing, okay? You're wiser than it is. So just work with confidence. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, okay? Work with confidence. The more you work on it, the better it gets. The more you practice, the better you get at what you do. And like I said earlier, don't stop learning. Keep improving on yourself. So this crumb coating helps to lock in the crumbs and also serve as adhesive for the fondant. Helps to connect the glue the fondant to the cake. I have a full video already on how to cover a cake with fondant, so you can check that out on my channel. In case you're not able to follow through this live video to the end, you can check that out, okay? And don't forget to subscribe. All right. Using a tape rule, it's a 9 inches round cake, but of course, after trimming, you don't expect it to be still 9 inches, so it's going to be about 8 inches plus in diameter. So okay, you can say it's 8 inches, 8.5 inches in diameter, and in height, it's 7 inches. So the person who asked the question, 8.5 inches wide, 7 inches high. So that's the size of the cake. I hope that answers your question. And it was baked with 1,250 grams of margarine. Yeah. The recipe is on my channel in the wedding cake video, live video that I made. So you can check out the recipe there. If you use this recipe to bake your cake, I bet you the customers will come over and over again. Like I'm very, very certain. I'm very certain about that. The taste of the cake is amazing. Because if you check out the recipe, you will see a lot of ingredients that goes into this cake. And with that, you will know why wedding cakes are not very cheap, because it's not your regular cake. It's not a regular sponge cake that has just about 3 or more ingredients. This wedding fruit cake contains a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, so let's clear our table and roll ups. Please, if you can hear me, drop a comment. Say yes. I want to be sure that you can hear me. The video I streamed yesterday had some audio issues, so I want to be very sure that you're hearing me, okay? You're going to know my brand name. It's GJ Cakes. That's my brand name on other channels, GJ Cakes _ Academy. If you're hearing me, please type yes. Type yes. Let me see that. Okay, so before you cover your cake, find the dimensions. This is about 8.5, but I'm going to make it in 9 because I don't want it exact. The height is 7 inches, but I'm going to make it, I'll make it 8. So about 7 inch, I'll make it 8. I want a little more. And then take the circumference, okay, around the cake. Okay, so you can do that before you add your buttercream so it doesn't get your tape roll messy. So take the circumference, the diameter, and the height of the cake for your paneling method, because we're using paneling method to cover this cake. Okay, so the circumference is 29 inches. The height, we're going to do 8. The diameter, we're going to be doing 9 inches. So you have to bear that in mind when you're rolling out your fondant. Okay, done with this, we're done with this. If you can hear me, type yes. I'd love to know. I'd love to be sure you're hearing me. So fondant, we left it to rest for some time, best overnight. And this recipe is on my channel. You can find it on the channel, how to make all weather fondant. I'm making wood pattern fondant for the cake. Oh, sorry, we have light outage. I hope you can still see me. Okay. I hope you can still see me. Okay, so the circumference of our cake is 29 inches. So first off, I try to, because what we want to achieve is a good length of fondant rolled out. So I try to get my fondant into that shape a little, just a little. because what we want to achieve is it's a good length. So, and then you can rub with some corn flour, and then I go for the height before the length. Okay, it makes it easier to achieve. So try to achieve the height. We're going for 8 inches height. So try to achieve the height first by rolling it this way. So roll this way to achieve the height first. Ensure that you lift occasionally so that you don't have your fondant sticking to the work table. So try to measure to get the length. Okay, yeah, we have about the height that we want. So we'll now work on the length. Sprinkle some corn flour and then roll to get a length. Roll this way to get your length. Like I said, always lift it up to ensure that it's not sticking to the work table. I'm suspecting this fondant will not be enough for our covering, so I'm going to add more and knead it. Okay, and then roll it again. It's a lot of work. If you have a machine to do this, please go ahead and use the machine. And that is quite a lot of work. Can never, never fail. Can never, never fail. Can never, never fail. Jesus the same forever. Okay, so good. So I go again. I roll this into cylindrical shape because we're trying to get a good length. Cylindrical shape. Okay. Can never, never fail. Sprinkle some corn flour. Can never fail. Like I said, try to get the height first before going for the length. Can never fail. Can never fail. If you're yet to subscribe, kindly do that. It's just a click away. Cost nothing. If you want to join my scholarship program, click on the link in my description to apply. Okay, I'm giving a 90% scholarship opportunity to those who are truly passionate about baking but have no means to achieve it. Okay, let me try to see if the length is okay. Yeah, the height rather. Yeah, we have our height, so let's go for our length. So this other way for length. Can never, never fail. Can never, never fail. Can never, never fail. Jesus the same forever. And sure you lift occasionally or let's say often. Often, yeah, occasionally. So that's after doing a hard work, you will not have your fondants stuck to the table and unable to be lifted. Okay. See, I'm lifting it often. You know what? I'm just discovering a method right now because rolling on fondant can be quite tedious sometimes. This is working. You just pick up your rolling pin and just roll over it this way instead of pressing it hard. Like just roll it because the fondant is smooth already. So it will just, that makes it easy. So I'm glad for this discovery. I guess I'm gonna use this henceforth. You just roll over your fondant this way, like, let's go. Yeah, with this I guess so. Let's not forget to lift up, lift up to be sure it's not stuck to the table. Let's go for the length. Okay, we're almost there, almost. So let's go again. Let's roll out a little bit more, just a little bit more. Yeah, we have our length. We have our length this way. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're good to go now. So it's all smooth now. So you can use your smoother to smoothen this out. Just put a little corn flour and then use your smoother to smoothen it out. Okay. So that is we're going to be making pattern on it before we roll out. We add it to the cake because we want to achieve wood pattern. Okay, trying to achieve a wood pattern with this. So you need this to either use the mat or an embosser. Okay, it has a pattern of the wood that we want to achieve. Just press it in to ensure that it gets the pattern that you're trying to achieve. It's very simple, very simple to do. Yeah, it's already given the pattern. So it's very simple, very simple. You can see the color is still white. That's because We're going to be painting the fondant, not adding color to it. So I'm going to be using edible spirits and the coffee brown color to give us the color that we want to achieve for the traditional cake. It saves a lot of energy. It saves a lot of color also, because what you want to be colored is the outer part. You don't really need the inner part of the fondant colored. So adding lots of color to the white fondant to get a brown fondant is always a lot. So it's better that you paint it when you're through the covering of the cake. Okay, the pattern is coming out beautifully, beautifully. Like I said, you can also use a silicone mat of the wood pattern or an embosser. So whichever you can lay your hands on, you're good to go. As much as you get the pattern that you want to achieve. I hope you can still hear me. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me, or in the live chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Oshimiri atata. Oshimiri atata. Oshimiri atata. River that never runs dry. Oshimiri atata. Oshimiri atata. Yeah, we're almost done. Okay, good. So we have our pattern. So what we need to do now is to roll out this fondant. Okay, so go from this. I'm just trying to reinforce the pattern that didn't come out perfectly. Okay, so This is beautiful. So just roll this all this way. Okay. Roll this out. And pick your move this way and just roll it around. It's very simple. I hope you can see this. Just roll it around. It's, oh, this is cutting off already. So just use your hands to press it on to the cake. I hope it's clear. I hope you can see this. Yeah. So just roll it around it and let it overlap. Let it overlap. Okay. Just use your hand on the smoother to touch this. Okay, so at the very point where it overlaps, you just look for a common point where it overlaps with the one beneath, okay? A common point where you can have a good length. So let me pick this point. I hope it's clear. So just cut through it. Get the excess out. Okay. Open up this. This is not yet cut through very well. I'm going to go through this again. Yeah. So open this up, the outer part, take out the inner parts. And with that, you can close this up to meet up with this one. You have a perfectly closed up fondant. And because of the pattern that we put in here, the close-up sign is very faint, it's not visible. So I'm just going to cut off the excess using the scissors designated for baking or for your cakes. I'll cut off not all of the excess, just a good amount of it. The cutouts and fondants will not be a waste. For the parts that are not stained with buttercream, you can reuse it. For the parts that are stained with just a little, you can clean it off and still use it for the upper part, okay? So we're going to work on the upper part now. We have the down part done. You can see how sturdy the cake is. The fondant recipe is on point. So I just use a smooth knife to just have a good smoothing around this. And then I'll also cut out the excess from the bottom. Yeah, you have a very smooth bottom there. So let's go for the top. Remember the inches where the diameter is. You're going for 9 inches, yeah, for the top. So get some fondant together. Roll. River never runs dry. Shimmery out. I'm not sure this will be enough. I'm just gonna add a little more to this. Shimmery out. Okay, so make it into a ball because we're trying to achieve a round shape. Make it into a ball and then roll it out in a circular form. River never runs dry. Shimmery out. Shimmery out. Shimmery out. You're the river that never runs dry. Yeah, there's a river that never, ever runs dry. You see, we achieve a lot of things in this world and still feel kind of empty on the inside, especially when the noise is all over. After receiving the award, you get the applause, then you get back to your room and a feeling of emptiness comes in. That's because there is a God-shaped vacuum in every single human that nothing else can fill. No achievements, no medal, no trophy can fill that space except God. Okay? So no matter what you achieve in this life, no matter what you get, know that true satisfaction comes from knowing your maker and knowing his son, Jesus Christ, who gave himself on the cross for your redemption and for my redemption. We broke the law, but Jesus paid the penalty. That's the simple message of salvation. We broke the law, Jesus paid the penalty. And all you need to do is to believe and accept him as your savior, and you'll be out of the pit of eternal damnation. Okay, so we have our pattern, the top layer. So let's cover this. This is a master course, I guess. It is. And you should be paying me some dollars for this. But well, that's left to you. It's a choice. And what you can do right now is to just subscribe, okay? Before the dollars come, subscribe. Okay, so just tuck it in. Tuck this into this. And that's just it. Just tuck it in, tuck it in. Let them meet. Okay. You can apply a little water if it's not joining together. A little water at the edges, just a little. So see, we've tucked it in. So use a smoothner to just press it to the outer one. Okay. So put the second smoothner outside and just try to press the two together. Okay, after this part, I'm going to be putting an end to this video. I'll probably start another because it's getting too long already. I hope you've gained something. So just press the outer part and the inner parts together. Okay. So just pick your scissors, designated for baking, okay? Not just a regular scissors. Okay, so just go through that point, that part that joins the two. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? I'm just cutting through from the inner fondant, the top fondant, through to the outer fondant. Just cut it through that straight joining. You have your sharp edge already. You can see this already. So you just do a finishing touch. So just cut it through. Mare, oh, 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 Mama, be about it, oh, I know, Lani. And if you also want to learn digital skills, you can join my Digital Skills Academy. Just click on the link in my description box and you'll be directed to how to join the academy. And guess what? You join for free. Yeah. You join for free and you pay whatever you can after learning. After ascertaining that, yes, this is worth it, then you can make any payment of your choice. Okay? Because I'm more interested in you learning the skill and achieving something. And also on my channel, you also find a video on how to create a website using AI. Also how to edit a video. So if you want to know how to edit a video, check on my channel. You will see that video there. So you can learn that there. And there's so many more I teach in my Digital Skills Academy. So I'm not just a baker, I'm a techie baker. I'm an engineer by profession, but a baker by passion. I love baking. I love baking. And probably my engineering skills helps me also in the baking field because I feel I can design any kind of cake. I feel so. I know so. I believe so. So don't throw away any knowledge that you have. Explore it. It's good to have a niche, yeah, but then don't let your other giftings waste away because you're trying to get a niche for yourself. You can create different niches for yourself. Why not? So if you're good at anything, please explore it. Explore it. So just do your finishing. You can see that sharp edge gotten at no cost. Just the cost of knowledge, though. Very fast and very easy. So you've been struggling with having a sharp edge on the cake. You can achieve that now easily using this method. It's very easy, very efficient. So you don't need to struggle with achieving sharp edge anymore, okay? Yeah, we got our cake covered. Wood pattern. So like I said, I'm gonna be painting this with edible spirit and the coffee brown color. So with this video, we'll be able to achieve trimming of a cake and paneling method of covering a cake in fondant. So I'll see you in my next video. And until then, stay joyful. Don't let anything steal your joy. Okay? Like I said, you can only find satisfaction in God. So go to God, your maker, and trust him with everything that borders your heart. I'll see you. Bye.